Greetings and salutations! You're listening to episode number 3 of the PSVRLIFE podcast. My name is Danthal. With me is my co-host, Schleiss. How's it going, Schleiss?
Doing pretty good today. Thanksgiving's coming up, and we have a lot of news to talk about today, so let's get started.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's tomorrow. We're recording November 23rd, 2016. It's 6:51 Arizona time. I'll be releasing the episode in a little while. Good stuff. I am super stoked. I know we want to get right into the news. I'm super stoked about the way the response and everything we're getting to episodes 1 and 2 and even episode 0. People really seem to be enjoying the podcast. We've been tracking the statistics. We got people listening all over the world. We got Denmark and Germany and Egypt. There's people all over the world that are listening to the PSVRLIFE podcast. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, Hajime Mashite for everybody in Japan, our 4 listeners over there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that surprised me.
Statistics are fun. I mean, it's one thing somebody visiting your website. It's another thing when they download the podcast because they're generally getting that off iTunes, which we're available on now. If you're listening to this, you're most likely listening to us because you found us on iTunes, but we're there. Go subscribe to us. We need some stars so more people listen to us and everything like that. Completely awesome week in PSVR. Some great games came out. Some great games on the horizon, even sales on stuff, Time Magazine. We got a lot to talk about. What do you want to start off the show with tonight?
Yeah, I actually wanted to start with the Game Awards 2016 adds a VR category, and they're only recognizing PlayStation VR titles.
Well, 3 of the 5 of those are available on PC, so they're crossover. But are they only giving them credit for the PSVR version?
Yes. They're only gonna be. It's like a thing that they're doing.
Oh, okay.
Like they're only gonna be talking about PSVR stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So, isn't that odd?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I saw that there was the back and forth on that is 3 of the 5 games are multi-platform, and from what I saw on the site, I think they're acknowledging the games more so than what platform they're on. I think it's coincidental that all 5 of the games that are there are all 5 games that are available on the PSVR. I think it was kind of intentional that there was high quality content that they wanted to put on the PSVR day 1 to get that out there. They soaked money into Batman. Rocksteady put some money to make sure that Batman experience was a good game. Riggs had to do a lot to develop new technologies for VR stuff. So all of these top quality things came out, and it came out for the system that they're going to make the most money on, which is the PSVR. But Riggs didn't make it, did it? Was Riggs one of the 5?
No.
That's the thing. That's what
Riggs didn't make it.
That made me angry. I'm like, Riggs totally belonged on there. But,
yeah, the 5 games are Batman Arkham VR, Eve Valkyrie, Job Simulator, Res Infinite, and Thumper.
Right.
So, yeah, 3 of those games are... is Res on the PC?
Res is not on the PC. Res is a PSVR exclusive.
Yeah, so it's just going to be the Eve, Valkyrie, and the Job Simulator. Those are the 2 that are on the PC VR also.
Interesting. It's an award show, and it's the first time they're acknowledging VR being, its own separate niche thing going. So, no, it's exciting. The acknowledgement, it lends legitimacy to the new VR gamer community. It's good stuff. I would have liked to have seen a couple of things that went on the PC that didn't make it on the PSVR. I think things like Alt Space might have been something that got an award. Not that it's the best thing ever, but it's the first kind of its generation to be a multi-platform place that people can interact with socially. It's through Gear VR and for the Vive and for the Oculus. And I thought that should have been one of the 5. But, yeah, interesting. I think we're just going to see that category grow more and more and more. And I think eventually that's going to be the mainstream, and there's going to be awards for flat games or retro-inspired games.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
It does feel that way, Is the VR... I think VR is poised to be the core of the video game community soon. We're early. That's you and I. You and I think, both kind of go down that path, being hardcore believers in the platform. Good stuff.
Yeah, so I wanted to mention something that user Ray Sweater on Reddit mentioned. He brought up a good idea for Rocket League. Maybe not making Rocket League all of VR, but just include like a spectator mode. Right. He said Rocket League VR as a spectator in the stands. I'm not sure if this is brought up, but obviously playing in VR would be a nightmare. But why not as a spectator?
I remember that post. I talked about that, and I said that I think I could totally play that game in VR from a third-person perspective or even a first-person perspective playing Rocket League. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
I think they can make something like that work.
Yeah, I disagree with him also. Yeah, I believe you could work as a VR game, but just the spectator in the stands, that would be pretty cool to be able to watch the games. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, things like that would be fun for live event kind of stuff. Like it would be way more engaging to watch a electronic sports kind of stuff if you can be there in VR and experience it at that kind of perspective. I think that's going to be a thing sometime in the future. And I think it's even going to be a thing where you're going to buy better tickets to the events, where you could literally buy the back seat kind of thing for $1, or you could get front row and pay an access fee. It'd be crazy. Who knows?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what they probably should have done for the football VR, the basketball VR experience that came out. The N2K thing. That's what they should have done.
Yeah, are we gonna get into the new releases now? Because I've been like dying to talk about the NBA 2K17 thing going.
Yeah, did you buy that?
No. You know me, I'm buyer beware. I want to see what's going on. If there's something that's like off my radar, I'm going to check it out first. You know, I might get lucky and get something like a Space Rift that starts off crappy that kind of gets better. But everything I've seen about the 2K17 is that game just doesn't get better. That game is just a crap fest like the whole time. Like, no motion controls first. It's supposed to be the basketball experience. There's no motion controls. It's literally looking at the basket and then pushing the button. And that launches the ball, and you always shoot it perfect. And then there's like a thing where you look up at a target, and you bounce it off the target, and you have to follow the ball that bounces off another target, that bounces off another target till it makes it to the basket or does whatever it's going to do. And it's like, that's not even basketball. All they needed to do was put some kind of motion control of shooting a basketball, and it would have been a slam dunk. But they didn't, and it was just a brick. And people hate it.
Yeah, that just shows what the developer might think of the future of VR. They might not feel like there's enough money into that they could get out of it, so they're trying to muddy the waters for future developers and future people buying the games.
Yeah.
Either that, or they're just trying to make a quick buck. You know?
Yeah, and that game was $14.99, and it was just. Did you watch any of the video? You can see it on YouTube. You can see the people playing it and stuff. They have like sponsorship things that are built in there. There's like Gatorade ads all over the place, and like you can like purchase a Gatorade power up to help you with like the next level. You can power up by drinking Gatorade. It's a shill. It's an absolute shill of a game that's advertising the NBA and all of that, and they're charging $14.99 for it. And, you know, I hate to come out negative against, you know, VR experience and stuff like that. I want to encourage companies to do it, but this is the absolute worst way to do it.
Yeah, when it's this blatant, you really can't give them any slack for. It's like the very definition of shovelware.
Yeah, like the Martian experience was one thing. Doing. The Martian experience, I think, at least incorporated some motion controls. Like this is totally the Martian experience. It's redemption here. You know, like people are going to stack the two of those together and say, like, I'd rather spend 20 minutes with Matt Damon than 30 seconds with this basketball crap. But that's kind of what I'm seeing. I haven't heard anybody that says they really liked it. And if they liked it, they're apologizing because they spent $15 and they don't want to admit that they got ripped off.
So there is some people saying that they're liking it?
I saw one or two people that did it. And I think, like, let's say you opened up your PSVR and you put on your headset, and the first thing you saw on the store after you played the demos was this, and you go, hey, NBA, this, whatever was great, I'm going to get this. And then, like, you put it on, and like, hey, this is new, I'm having fun, I'm shooting baskets, look, all the crowd, ooh, this is exciting. yeah, if that's like one of your first VR experiences, you might be a little bit, pleased with it until you see what you can really do with it. If you compare that to like the motion controls of Holoball, for example, that game has real one-for-one motion controls in a game and a sport, and it's awesome. We'll get more into Holoball later, but yeah, total shill on that. We're talking about new releases. You want to talk about Holoball now?
Actually, I wanted to tie the basketball game to Gary the Gull PSVR. They did this. If I would have paid any money for this, I would have been angry. But it comes out on the store free,
right?
And it's a really cool tech demo, which seems like what the basketball game is. So, Gary the Gull PSVR, you could download it.
Yes.
It's you say hi to have you tried it?
Yeah. No. See, this is when you see a street performer, even if they're doing something you don't like, if you stopped and listened, and laughed or enjoyed yourself, you should throw $1 in their case. That's it. They earned it. I think this game made me laugh. It made my girlfriend laugh when she saw me play it. It was kind of goofy. It was kind of fun. It was really short, but it's an example of something that can be done. I can imagine Gary the Gull getting an AI. Throw an AI on that Gull and have a conversation with them. That would be an awesome experience. This is a precursor to that kind of thing, that this live theater to where you can talk to something and you can shake your head and it acknowledges that you shook your head up or down or you talked. I loved it.
Yeah, I didn't see any acknowledging that I've talked, but the shaking, the nodding, yes or no, that worked out well for me. But what did it do when you talked to it?
Well, it asks what your name is, and you tell it your name, and then it responds. And then I played through again, and if you don't answer, then he says a different thing. So if you tell him your name, he says, and he doesn't acknowledge what he heard, but that you said something, and then he goes to the next script. So there are branching scripts that Gary the Gull can go into, depending on whether or not you turn around and look and let him fool you or whatever. No spoilers. Go play it. It's fun. That just shows like how small and starting this is. Yeah.
Because I tried that too, and it still acted like I said my name. So
okay.
Yeah, I didn't say anything, and maybe I bumped something, and it saw the bump as my name or something.
Stuff like this should be 99 cents. They should have a category of stuff that's like this that's 99 cents. That you can buy, just little fun experiences and stuff like that. Maybe they will sometime in the future. I think we'll start to see a little bit of the mobile appleization of the PSVR once they open it up to indies and let them put out $3.99 games. We're going to see little stuff like that. It'll be fun. The Gear VR is like that.
So you wanted to talk about the Holoball,
yes,
right?
Holoball. I am sore. I am in pain. I have a little bit of tennis elbow going on. I didn't overextend myself, but my arm, if I extend it all the way, it hurts. My thighs hurt, and going up and down a step makes me groan in pain. This game has defeated me. You've defeated the game. You're like, oh, I beat that game on hard. I got all the trophies already. They need to fix this game. And I'm like over here, like aching back and sore and whatever.
Well, actually, you should look at the video I posted up on the PSVRLIFE YouTube channel.
Okay.
They actually do need to fix the game.
Okay.
Maybe you could watch it right now and tell me what you think, because it's an exploit. All right, so
it's an exploit?
You don't have to do anything.
Oh, that's funny.
It's an exploit, and I found it. It's so easy. I got all the trophies in like 10 minutes. All I did was you just tap the ball with one paddle. You have two move controllers in your hands. Tap the ball with one paddle, and the other paddle you hold down the T button. Where you know how you could do that, where you start the ball and catch it. Hold down the T button with the other paddle, and then hit the ball while you're holding down the T button, and the enemy doesn't move.
Oh wow!
So so you could get all the points just that way, doing it over and over again.
Here I am playing legit and killing myself.
I would love to play this game over again if I could actually play. But if I already know an exploit, it's really hard not to use it. Because you could catch it right before. Yeah, it's really hard not to use it, because even if you hit it all the way over there and you see he's about to hit the ball, you could still press the T button and stop it.
Right.
So like you could save yourself from every bad hit.
So I know what's going to bring you back to the game.
Right now.
What's going to bring you back to the game is they're going to add multiplayer. And then whenever
and hopefully they fix this.
And then hopefully they fix that part of it. The multiplayer, and you and I can play, and you'll be able to beat me every time, I'm sure. Even legit. Oh my god, this game kicked my ass.
That's exactly what I'm waiting for.
I would play for like 10, 15 minutes. And then I had to take it. It wasn't even 10, 15 minutes. It was like 5 minutes, 7 minutes. And I had to take off the headset and put it down and go sit in front of a fan. And then I'd have to clean off the headset and get the lenses clean. And then I'd play another round. And I was like ducking and diving and going down on one knee. And I got carpet burn on my knee from going down so many times, swinging for like things that were going crazy. And I like hit the roof or the ceiling, and I hit the wall, and I hit something else. I was like damn near like breaking things in here. I had to do good thing I didn't have the 2 paddles, because I was doing that I would have been hitting my fiance in the head of the Move controller. That wouldn't have been good. But
you're just using one.
I didn't know you could use 2. I thought you just had 1. It made sense. 1. Why would you have 2 paddles?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it would be fun, like once they fix it up because using 2, like you could get it from both sides, you know, like it doesn't really help you much at all. Like it just gives you more freedom of where you could hit the ball. I really like what they did to this game with the level of customization you could do with your play space.
Yeah.
Have you messed around with any of the options? That is amazing, because I have a narrow place that I play. It's very long, but it's narrow, so I can't really stretch out my arms all the way on either side. So you could set it so you minimize the width of your play space, which is really helpful.
Yeah.
I hope more games do that.
You know,
Job Simulator needs that kind of thing.
Here's a $1 million idea. They need to come up with like room barricades that you can put up in your room, so you can clear a space with the room barricades, and they're padded and stuff, so you don't hurt yourself when you're in VR. Have you seen the videos of people like falling down and eating it? Or like falling out of a chair.
Yeah.
Oh, this one dude was like, he was an older dude, and he was playing, and he tripped and fell face first like into the coffee table with a PSVR on his head. That had to be bad. That had to break the thing. I'll see if I can post the video on the Facebook page or on the web page. It's funny. But yeah.
Yeah, have you tried the Proton Pulse VR?
You know, I have to budget myself. Like when I see 5 games I want to buy, I basically tell myself, no, you can only have 3. That's the way my brain works. Just pick 2 that you don't need right now and get those later. I held off because I already own it on the Gear VR, and it's really good on the Gear VR. I don't see how it's going to be a ton better on the PSVR. I'm holding out for that to be half off, and then I'll grab it again.
So let me tell you how it works on the PSVR. So on the PSVR, I got it. Cool. It's only $10. And so what it does is if you... I'm seeing how it would work on the Gear VR. I wasn't aware that it was on there. So I'm guessing if you're on the Gear VR, you're looking around with your head, and that's where it moves the paddle.
Yes, your face was the paddle.
It moves the paddle around. Your face is the paddle. So you have that on here too, but you could also use 2 Move controllers to be hand paddles, so you could get more control of where you hit the ball. Yeah, it's like a brick breaker game. It's really fun. You get power ups and everything. You know all this, but it's over 50 levels. Has a great soundtrack and everything. I like that game a lot. That game was making me sweat a lot, and there's no exploits in that game. So
and there's
that I can find so far.
And the important thing that I really liked about it was it's got mini bosses and a boss. So if you like traditional...
Ooh, really? I haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, yeah. There's multiple little mini bosses, and then like one big boss at the end you have to beat. At least the Gear VR version. They probably have at least that, and then probably a little bit more. They probably added some to it, being a bigger release. It was only like $2.99 on the Gear VR. And one of the other games that the guy has done are really good too. So him getting Proton Pulse on there means he's going to get some of his other games on there. I'll research here in a second. I'll tell you what his other games are. If that does well, then he'll probably bring more stuff on, and he's a good indie developer. I like him. What else new releases? No, the VirZoom, V-I-R, Zoom, VirZoom. It sounds vaguely German. VirZoom. Doesn't it sound German to you? It's got to be. It sounds like a greeting.
Yeah, a little bit. It's like they cut off the end of virtual and just VirZoom. Yeah. Arcade. Yeah. So this is both the most expensive PlayStation VR game and it's free Also, it's the most expensive and it's free at the same time. It's the free version's currently broken.
Yeah.
If you just want to play with your controller, you can't do anything, and the code's missing.
Yeah, good job,
It says
guys.
right there when you start it
Hey,
up.
let's launch a demo.
Yeah, it does nothing.
And then the demo doesn't work for anybody. That's a good way to start
so what
your
you
company.
Have to do,
buy our $400 exercise bike.
Yeah, $300 or something. Yeah, $300. You plug into a dongle into your PS4, and you have this bike that takes up all this space. And
expand dongle.
I watched some. I watched some people playing it, and they said that it's interesting. They said it's interesting, but it's not worth $300.
Yeah. What I've read of the VirZoom when I was reading it is there was a couple reviewers complaining that it's a puke fest. And you and I both feel that kind of way, that if you're a reviewer, and you can't handle it, don't review, video games that are virtual reality games. Stick to flat games. Yeah, really. But I think it was more than that. I think it's just because most people are saying that it feels like a kind of alpha stage of the game. Like, it's not like even in a beta. It's like, we're coming up with these concepts, and this is kind of buggy, it's kind of weird, but here you go. There's a lot of like clipping and stuff, and the motions aren't right, and it feels super weird to be pedaling a bicycle and then be traveling in an F1 racer as a puppy. What the hell's going on there? Why are puppies driving F1 racers in your exercise bike? What's going on? Can you explain that to me? Why are the puppies driving cars?
I just think they needed to figure out more stuff to do than just biking through areas. They needed like some sort of like uniqueness to their game that couldn't be copied or something they could say is theirs,
I would love for there to be an exercise bike like that did that, but not with a full VR headset. That would have to be AR. It'd have to be lighter than that. I could not imagine doing, an hour-long workout with a virtual reality headset on. No way.
Yeah, well, I kind of did earlier today with the Proton Pulse.
Well,
but
I can handle short periods. I need to get like a big fan in my room if I'm going to play that game, and I do want to play that game more. I do want to play that game in a multiplayer kind of thing, and I hope that there's a good community that plays with that, or people you can meet up and play. I don't know, multiplayer quick matches. I think.
With the
awesome.
Holoball.
Yes, absolutely. So we got Proton Pulse, Holoball, VirZoom. We got Gary the Gull. That's pretty much everything that's kind of released, except for Pinball. The Pinball FX2. It went on the store for like 20 minutes. And like people were like, oh, and they went and bought it. And then like I went on the store and I saw the picture for it. I'm like, oh my God, it's there. And I went to get it and it said download or error. And I'm like, what's going on? Why is this picture on the store? Error. And I went on the Reddit forums and people were like, yeah, we bought it. We have it. We're playing. I'm like, I am so salty. I'm like totally like butt hurt that I didn't get the virtual Pinball FX. So there's the Mars table and the Ocean Depths table and the Walking Dead table and I think they have the Rome table, which is like the weakest of them. But I want that. Next week.
You're a huge pinball fan, I take it.
Oh my God, I love pinball. Virtual pinball especially.
Yeah, I kind of missed that generation. I think it'd be cool to have like a virtual arcade mixed in there with the pinball, kind of like that Black Mirror episode, San Juanapero. Have you seen that Black Mirror episode?
Yes, that is a good.
Yeah, that was totally.
That's one of my favorite themes in science fiction is like the Ghost in the Machine kind of thing. Living in a virtual world after your death. I think that technology will not exist in yours and I's lifetime. But when you see that put in that aspect, yes, that episode.
Yeah, it's called transhumanism. That whole episode is about transhumanism, which is something that I've been looking into. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can basically time travel and play video games in different eras by going to different bars in the virtual world afterlife. Yes, I would love something like that. I would love to have a video game that is San Junipero and go do that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, some sort of like a virtual arcade where you could do pinball and everything. Like Namco could put it out or something, or Capcom. They have a bunch of arcade games.
I want to talk about like Ready Player One. You need to go read Ready Player One. You need to, it's your responsibility as a virtual reality podcast person to do that. That's you need that reference, but that's a big part of that book. Is there's a thing called the Oasis, and the Oasis is like basically a virtual world. It's a collection of servers that's super strong and creates a persistent world. And they have when you live in the virtual world, you have your own virtual space where you can read your comic books and you watch your movies and do things, and you have like a den that's your own place to do that with. And yeah, totally.
Yeah, it sounds like you're reading my dreams right now. I've already been dreaming about all that stuff.
Yes.
That's crazy.
You'll love that book.
Yeah, so you had some early reviews you wanted to talk about, didn't you, Dan?
Yeah, last week I picked up Space Rift, and I completed the Space Rift episode 1. I didn't like it at first. There were some things that were really bad about it. The loading screens in particular were really bad. They were like jarring, and they put you into this loading screen that's kind of like a gray. It's not black, it's not white, it's a gray, but it's just gray enough to where if you like close one eye and focus, you can like see like the pixels and the little defects in your lenses and stuff like that. But if you have both eyes open, because of the stereoscopic effect of seeing that, it's not completely stereoscopic. This gray loading screen thing, it's like, it's horrible. So you have to close your eyes to wait until it comes back on, and then you can open your eyes and do it. And there's a lot of that kind of thing going on with the game, and it was frustrating. And it took a while to get to the points of the game that were good. Like the last part of it, the last third of it, it got a lot better. There were missions, and you were doing things, and you were mining, and you were upgrading your ship, and you were having little conversations. And the last level, you're inside of like a space-based thing, and you're actually flying, and you have a sense of speed, and you have a sense of scale, and it's good. And then it ends weird. But it was just so hard to have to go through a good hour and a half, 2 hours of the game until it got good. It was painful. The script was bad.
And you were playing that on your PS4 Pro, right?
On the Pro, right. It was dark. It looked pretty bad. But there were some redeeming points where it kind of channeled some of the Wing Commander games. Here you are, go on this ship, go to this checkpoint, do this thing, and they're kind of guiding you through it. There was a little bit of that there, and it's very promising. If they had a budget and they had writers, and if it was a completely different studio, that would have been a great game. Whatever. Like I said, video game design is hard. I get it, and VR design is hard, and I hope they do a better job the next time around. I enjoyed it. There were some memorable moments. I remember talking back in the conversations and having fun. They left you open for many "that's what she said" kind of jokes. If you're into that kind of thing, if you like talking back to the characters, they set you up many times for puns and things like that. You can try it out. So it's a fun game if you are a talented YouTuber and want to do things like that to have fun with, because it's pretty bad. But there was that, and then the other game that was on sale. We had a game sale. I wanted to give a little bit of an early of Bound. Yes, Bound was one of those $20 games that I thought was going to be like a bad, here's a game and we forced it into VR kind of thing. But Bound is actually a super solid VR game. In the beginning, you're standing at a place, outside, and you're looking, there's trees and cars and whatever, and another car pulls up and it's kind of goofy, but a woman gets out of the car and she's pregnant. And you can kind of get in close and you can look at her, but it's a really good animation, and it's a really good presence of having another human standing close to you. And so it was fun just kind of looking at the pregnant woman and watching her walking in the sand and looking around at the beach. And the beach experience was really good. There was a good sense of presence being on the beach. And then the game starts up, and apparently she's recalling memories or something. And then you're this weird ballet princess thing that has to save it from the monsters. But you don't actually fight. You just kind of have a dance that you do that makes a shield that lets you go through areas that are dangerous. And I really like the VR experience, but I want to punch things and blow things up and stuff like that still. I'm not getting the nature of the game of just navigating and using shields to defend yourself. But
have you played Journey?
Journey I liked. Flower I liked.
Yeah, it's going the way of Journey and Flower. A beautiful just relaxing endeavor. You know, that's what that game's going for. I played that game halfway through. I played Bound halfway through without VR, months before VR came out. And then I went back into it when the VR came out. I didn't want to finish it until the VR came out because I knew it was a VR game. So I got it, booted it up, and it didn't, there was no tutorials on how to move the camera or anything when you start it halfway through. So I had no idea how to use the camera and how to look around, how to get closer to the character, because it's a third-person game. Right. So I had no idea how to get closer to it. So I just thought I was working how it's supposed to. So you just walk far and you can't see anything. Right. Like you just walk. If you walk far enough, then the camera moves closer automatically. But you're supposed to press a button or something, like right? Is it a control stick or something? Yeah, up with the other stick or something. Up moves you closer. To get closer.
Back moves centers you further away, and then left and right mover either a quarter or a full or whatever turn. I wish they would have just added smooth controls. Yeah. It's blink. Okay. It's blink turn. So it's I don't like degree turn. Don't give me degree turn. At least give me an option for my own smooth turn, please, please, please. I think part of it is comfort, and I think the other part of it is having to have the VR engine render things and moving in 3D in that way are a little bit more difficult than it being a static camera. I think if it's a static camera, it's easier for it to render all that background stuff than if it's a camera in motion. Because once you throw that motion in there, you have all of those other things that the things in the background have to do, calculation-wise. So
yeah. So the developers did say that they were trying to do the same camera as in not VR, where the camera follows, but they said they couldn't get that right, and it was making people sick, I guess. Mm-hmm. And they said they are going to release an update with updated camera controls, smooth controls. So
I like it much better.
Yeah, they did say they were going to update that, but that was at the release of the PSVR. So I'm waiting to go back into that.
Give me smooth controls.
Yeah, definitely. Me too.
Developers, if you're listening to this, always throw a smooth controller in there.
For us VR enthusiasts.
Give us the choice.
Yeah.
We want that. It's not just me and Slice. A lot of people want this. We're talking to people on Reddit, we're talking to people on Facebook. We're listening to other podcasts. We're getting some of that. Some people are like they're sick, but other people want it. Trust me. So yeah, that's about it. With Bound, we can talk a little bit about like the sale that's going on PSN right now. A bunch of good stuff on sale if you like stuff on sale. Bound's one of the things that's on sale. Trackmania is one of the things that's on sale. And Star Wars Battlefront is one of those things that's on sale. Star Wars Battlefront is going to have VR content coming out in December that's going to be free if you own Battlefront. So $7.50 if you want that content and Battlefront.
Yeah, I got Battlefront a long time ago. I don't know why I bought it. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I got it. I guess it was just because they said they were going to have VR content, so I think that in the back of my mind, that's why I bought it. So I'll be able to try that out.
Yeah.
Did you pick up any of those?
Yeah, I picked up that. I already had Trackmania because I got that off Amazon for a good deal. And I picked up Bound, and I picked up Battlefront, Holoball, those three. So I got those, and before that I got Overwatch on the PS4 because I had to have it again because I wanted to play it with the PSVR because there is more to experience with the PSVR that's not just virtual reality games. Watching television content and playing other video games on the big screen inside the VR are fun as well. They are definitely enhanced. I can report that Overwatch will definitely give you motion sickness if you're not good with VR. Because it gives me the tinge of it, but you'll get over that too. But Overwatch on that big, huge screen, your brain does fill in that whole 3D thing. Like, your brain doesn't need the 3D to operate 3D in the game. So there's a weird 3D effect to it that's not in the game, but your brain puts on it anyways. Especially the battle menus in between, like you win, you lose. For some reason, those things appear to be in 3D. It's weird. I'm not the only one who says things like that, too. I've read other people. Other people are saying, everybody knows it. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. That's my Trump way to prove that that's a real thing, and it's not just me. It may just be.
Yeah,
But I love Overwatch. on the PSVR. Oh my god! I'm combining my two favorite things in the world, which is the PSVR headset and Overwatch.
Yeah, I found that playing. Yeah, found that playing old games you love in the VR adds to immersion. You don't have anything around you to distract you. If you ever like a little kid and sitting right next to the TV with all your eyes on the TV, it just shuts out the whole world, and you could get more immersed into those flat games. So
absolutely,
yeah.
No, I totally agreed. And because the PSVR has the headset stuff built in, you're instantly disabled to talk to people and do your thing, and you don't have to set up any other headset, so you can listen to 12-year-old kids yell at their dad to get the phone, which is most of what you're doing on PS4 multiplayer. Dad, get your phone! And his phone's all... Dad, get your phone!
Yeah, so it was a big week.
That's Overwatch.
Yeah, it was
online.
a big week for the PlayStation VR. It got named one of the best inventions of 2016 by Time Magazine.
Yes.
Yes. They say here, in order to access the most cutting-edge virtual reality, people typically have to shell out thousands of dollars. Not just for the headset, like the $800 HTC Vive, but for a computer that's powerful enough to support it. Time Magazine reported. Sony's PlayStation VR, by contrast, is designed to work with a console that millions of people already own, the PlayStation 4. So that's a big up for PlayStation VR. A lot of people that read Time Magazine and respect the opinions of Time Magazine will see that and purchase one. So
totally.
Yeah.
They're selling like hotcakes in Japan, and even the used ones are selling for a ton of. The people are reporting the used ones cost more than the new ones. Yeah,
you could actually. A lot of people that bought, I guess, people in Japan that bought two are selling their second one for more because everything's out and everybody needs this for the holidays. Like everybody needs it to show it to their loved ones for the holidays and everything. That's probably why.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just sold out like crazy. I wanted to mention something about Eagle Flight, which I've gotten pretty far into since the last time we talked. I've realized that this game is one of the most frustrating and most relaxing games at the same time. Eagle Flight has a beautiful range of emotion, from trying to get through those damn tunnels for hours, and then when you've had enough, you could go out and just hunt for some fish and hunt for some eagle feathers, and it's nice to have a slow hunt where you just hold down the L2, which slows down you, and just looking for everything, and then when you've had enough of relaxing time, you go into, okay, I'm going to take on a challenge time, and man, those tunnel challenges are pretty hard. Those are the ones that are getting me right now. The challenges with the flying through the hoops, I 3-star those usually on my first try, but those tunnel ones got me. I cannot stand the tunnel challenges. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So how have you put in more time to the Eagle Flight?
A little bit more, not a ton more. I'd have to look at my thing. You can go and look and see if I have and see if I'm lying or not. So I'll probably say, no, I haven't, but I recall many things of that game. The relaxing parts of flying around and looking for the feathers and the fish. Like, you would hear the feathers before you would see them a lot of times. You would be flying around and kind of going through, like, the parks and through the buildings, and you would hear them, and you'd go, ooh, and you know it's around, and you'd have to go up and get up high and look down until you see it or you hear it again. And then you would see a fish that was kind of hard to get to because you have to boost to get to it. So you'd have to take another swoop at it. So that kind of stuff was really awesome, that you would have the relaxing part of hunting and then the challenging parts of the other. It was definitely good, and I'm so looking forward to like going back to it and playing it some more. I'm realizing now that I have so many games that I haven't really given the ones that I got originally a full chance, but looking forward to playing it. A lot of people are liking Eagle Flight. Multiplayer still seems kind of vacant. I guess if you get involved in the community and meet at certain times and all get on at the same time, sure, it works.
Yeah.
But like I've said before, I'm spoiled by games like Overwatch, where you get in and you're playing in like 3 minutes at the most.
I haven't tried too much of I haven't tried any of the multiplayer yet, so I'll have to wait to comment on that. But with the
that's going to be You're not going to get the platinum with that game super quick because there's one of the goals that you got to get 1,000 kills.
Yeah, 200 wins.
That's going to be a challenge to find enough people.
Yeah, 200 wins also. Yeah. Speaking of multiplayer, a little follow up on how the update of rigs works. So basically, how it really does consolidate the player base. That's all it does. You still go through the plane. You still load up the other one. The loading screens are still there, but you don't get to pick which mode you get to play with. So it just has them on a rotate. And I play one game. The first time I booted up, played one game against all real people, but I had 2 bots on my team. Loaded up the next one, which is a different game mode because it rotates them. And then I had 2 more people. So it did consolidate the player base, and I was playing with a full game of actual people within 2 games. So, yep.
Yeah. Player base still isn't strong enough. I went in and played again, and I got into a match. And I can report the Pro is very nice with rigs. And there are super visible improvements when you're doing it. The main thing, like when you look at left and right and look at your weapons, look at your arms, like on the standard, sometimes it took a little while for it to fill in the detail. Like you'd look at something and it goes, oh, and it would populate the detail. With this, the detail's there immediately, and some parts shine and have like a mirror effect to them. And it's like really good for the immersion to see the mirror effect of that going on. And it plays really nice. It reset all of my settings, all of my savings for my like the face mask guard thing and the head movement. But when I played, it took me like 5 minutes, and I got a 3 versus 3, but it's me and 2 bots and a guy and 2 bots.
Oh, really? So it's still bad for you.
And then he dropped out.
Oh, man.
And then he dropped out, and I sat and waited for 5 minutes, and nobody else came in.
Oh, man. I guess it just has to do with your time that you're playing. I'm playing late at night.
That's the thing. It's like, ugh. I want to commute. I'm playing it relatively late at night too, when I would think most people would be doing it, and they're not. At least I'm not finding them. I'm relatively sure my network is set correctly to find other people, and they're supposedly combining multiple different servers to do this with. But either way, I hope it comes back. I need to get in on one of their community events, and they have many community events on there that I haven't taken part of that I need to. That'd be fun. Play with the devs.
Speaking of community, didn't we get a voicemail?
Yes, we have a voicemail, our very first voicemail. Thank you for the voicemail. If you wanted to call us and leave us a voicemail like this fine guy you're about to hear, you can call us at 540-404-1376, and we'll play it on the show. So let's go ahead and play that voicemail.
PSVRLIFE. I've recently been getting interested in PlayStation VR, so I've been listening to your podcast. And my question for you is, what are some things I can do to help myself get adjusted to the motion sickness that I experience when I play PlayStation VR? I really like the concepts, and I like the games for it, but I can't seem to play the games without getting horribly motion sick.
The motion sickness, I've showed the VR to a lot of people, and my roommate, he got sick quite often. But every time I put him into games like rigs, the games that get people motion sickness, every time they go in again, they could play a little bit longer and a little bit longer. So you just gotta, and as soon as you get sick, you stop playing and then play again another time. Just try to play a little bit longer. And it seems like you don't have your own PlayStation VR. So if you have your own and you get to play the games that you can play, and I suggest buying disc content if you're prone to motion sickness.
It is one of those things totally that you do get used to after a while. You do adjust. I think we've talked about it in another show. Some people never will. Some people will always get sick, and they know ahead of time because they just have some kind of imbalance or something to start off with. A lot of people that already have like prone to vertigo or to other things like that, these things enhance that and make it really bad. So they're always going to be not able to use VR. But I think most, the average person without any kind of other, issues should be able to adjust, just given it a little bit of time. The sensations that I have on occasion generally feel more like hunger than they do anything else. It's a weird kind of response that my stomach gets when I get a little bit ill. It's a little bit more like I'm hungry than I am like I'm getting sick. And I think like we said, we're talking to people out there, and a lot of people start off feeling sick and then get better. My experience using the first generation VR with the DK1, the Oculus DK1, that made me sick. I liked it, and I tried to get better at it, but there was like some bad lag that I think, more than anything else, that was making me sick. Gear VR, a couple games made me a little bit sweaty, a little bit hot, didn't like them. The Minecraft in the Gear VR and 3D mode in particular made me kind of ill. The 2D mode, not as much, but I think it was just because of the performance of the game, the frame rate of the game being bad, didn't help a whole lot. And that trailing your head, like it doesn't track your head perfectly. It's close, but it's still that little bit off. PSVR games tend to not do that as much. But practice, get a little bit. Ginger ale, people say the ginger ale helps them. And I've tried some ginger ale playing VR, and it seemed to be kind of good. Who knows how much of that was a placebo kind of thing? Hey, drink this, and it's supposed to make your stomach not feel upset. People have been drinking ginger ale to have their stomach not be upset for a while. That's one thing. Ginger ale, people are talking about Dramamine, but it makes you tired. Other people talk about copper bracelets, which I think is a lot of bunk. And some people say cannabis, that if you get, yourself an edible or have something to smoke, which is legal to do in quite a few places in the United States and the world, you will negate some of those nauseous feelings. So it will help. So
yeah, you could also,
if you smoke pot, try smoking pot before you use the VR. That might help, is what I'm saying in so many words. 420, blaze it, bro.
Yeah, you could also, well, I'm in California. I don't know how it is in Arizona, but we just passed Prop 64, so yeah. So you could also probably use the same tricks you could use if you get car sick. So look, if there's a game, look out, like you're playing Rigs, look out into the horizon when you're playing instead of focusing on the immediate things immediately in front of you. VR legs is a real thing that you have to find. You have to find your VR legs. More often than not, you can get accustomed to VR, other than just not being a person that doesn't fit with it. I think that would be an outlier. If you're a person who gets sick in VR all the time, I think it would be for every game, not just some games. So
yes,
and
real quick before I forget, that was one thing about Space Rift. In Space Rift, when you have your base ship, when you have your afterburners going to the max, that's 420. Your speed is 420 when you have your afterburners on max. I'm like, oh, you sly dogs.
Oh, that's hilarious.
You threw a 420 in there. Ha, ha,
That's an interesting Easter egg.
Sorry.
That's funny. 420.
Also, you don't ever get to see your ship. That's like the most disappointing part of that game. You never get to see what your freaking ship looks like. Maybe you do at one point, but I forgot. Like, I had no idea what my ship looked like. I assume it looked like a space egg.
Space egg.
Because I never saw it.
Are you in a ship the whole time? Is that why you don't get to see it? Oh.
Yeah, it's first person in the ship the whole time. Like, there's no third person, like, here's your ship, get in it. It's just like, you're talking to people and then you're inside your ship after you have this really awkward gray loading screen, which is also what happens when you die. I was actually happy when I died in that game. I was like, oh, I died. That's awesome. This game actually has a challenge here. Nice. Either way. So we had a voicemail. Oh, I wanted to mention thank you for the kind words from the Blue Pill podcast. I have a clip of that I'll play as well. Basically, he says that we sound like the PSVR version of The Instance, which I really like. I think The Instance, if you've ever played World of Warcraft and listened to World of Warcraft podcast, The Instance was definitely one of my favorite. Scott Johnson kind of is like a little bit, not really a role model. I think he's too goody two-shoes kind of dad thing going on than I am. But I appreciate like the older gamer kind of aspect going on, which I am, so I identify. Very kind words of our podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Blue Pill.
We had a good week overall. Good listens, people all over the world, positive vibes. That's about all I got. Make sure to, after listening to the show, go subscribe to us. We like 5-star reviews because it helps other people find us and listen to us. And you can find us on iTunes. You can subscribe to us by the RSS link on the webpage, which is PSVRLIFE.com. You can go to the Facebook page, which is Facebook/group/PSVRLife. We have the Twitter as well, which is twitter.com/PSVRLife. A bunch of places to follow up and tell us what you think of our show.
All right, well, put on your headset and get a life.
Bye-bye.
There is a fourth PlayStation VR podcast coming out. Well, it's come out. Their first episode is out, PSVRLIFE. These guys clearly know their biscuits. They talk the talk very well. It's very podcasty in a positive sense. Kind of reminds me of one of the iconic MMORPG podcasts, The Instance. Don't know if any of you will ever have listened to that, but it's got that sort of vibe of a strong anchor and another strong character. I think it's going to do well. I'll certainly be listening. So that's PSVR Life.